I spent hours and $30 trying to make that pet, you know? And then like it gets to a point where you're $25 in making the pet, right? And it's like, what am I doing? Alright, what's going on everybody? I hope you're having a great day and welcome to today's video on the channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about the Wizard101 pet system. Now, as you guys know, I am somebody who has made literally hundreds of pets. As you can see here, I have every single school max level. I PvP on all of them, and I PvE on all of them. I am a huge whiz head. We've got like 2 pages of pets per character, so I have a fair share of experience with this, so I feel like I'm very qualified to talk about it. And the reason I'm making this video is honestly because I feel like there is a big majority, that does not make any sense, does it? Whatever, I'm keeping it in. There's a majority of players that want to make pets because, you know, pets are cool and you need them if you want to be efficient in PvP and PvE. But in my opinion, I feel like they they can't because they're not qualified and there's so much stuff to do. And that's kind of what I want to talk about in today's video. If you enjoy this video at all, a like rating and a sub is always appreciated. I honestly recorded this video and then I thought I was recording and then I checked my software to click stop recording and I wasn't. So my voice might be a bit dead and I apologize for that. So the first thing I want to talk about, which is, you know, if this change happened, what would happen? First things first, I think there would be a lot of people unhappy. Primarily long-time Wiz players, you know, like the hardcore audience, you know. Let's say they make the pet system really easy and forgiving next month, and then all these people like myself who had to suffer and spend, you know, tons and tons of money, you know, trying to make these pets, that might feel like a slap in the face to those hardcore players. So in general, I kind of feel like if King's Hall is going to do a change, they should not do like a whole, you know, system revamp. I think that, you know, if they're gonna do some pet changes, they should be very, very minor. I like the basic idea of the pet system. You know, you pick a pet you want, whether it's like an item card or it's a cute pet. You know, you pick it, you go train it, you know, and then you just keep doing that, right? I think the issue is the limited resources you have to make pets, you know? If you want to make a pet and be efficient, what do you have to do, right? You obviously need to garden, okay? What do you have to do to garden? Well, you have to quest up, you have to do the quest, you know, in Gotham Court. You have to get all these spells, you know, obviously, like, you know, pests, soil, you know, sun, water, bees, all that stuff. We know all about that, right? And then you need a, you know, obviously seeds to do the garden. So you have to start with a bunch of newbie seeds, and then once you're finally level 3, you can finally do stuff like couch potatoes, but you're not done yet, boy. You gotta get like 69 couch potatoes to do a whole plot. And then what do you have to do? Well, what is a plot? You have to look it up on YouTube, how to make a plot, you know, and then mess that up, you know? I messed my plot up like 3 times when I was trying to do it, you know? Now, forgive me if I'm being a bit negative here, but again, I'm just trying to say it how it is. It's a lot of work for a new person to get into, and I remember, you know, 2.5 years ago when I made my account here, I remember vividly suffering through this, you know? You gotta figure out how to make the plot, you gotta farm all the seeds, then you gotta, you know, wait, and then you gotta have like all the energy. It's a lot to do, you know? But once you get all these seeds and you harvest them, you finally have mega snacks and you can finally train your pet. But guess what, boy? Guess what? You're still not done. Guess what? Your energy is gonna run out so fast, and you have to pay crowns if you want to make the pet at a decent pace. What's that? You got freaking Myth Ward on your all damage Filosaur pet? Guess what? Delete the entire thing, try again, and pay another 1,000 crowns. Oh boy. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of a joke, right? But real talk here, I think the pet system is just, what I'm saying here is the pet system is very unforgiving and very punishing for no reason, right? When it's completely just utter RNG, you put in all that work to learn, you know, how to garden, get those mega stacks, than spend all that money just to have a pet, not work out in the long run. Now, in my opinion, what I would love to see, KingsIsle do is have a pet system reroll, so if I get my Snuggles right here, the Pixie, to, Epic, and I get a talent I do not want, let's say, I get Ice Dealer on a Death Pet, like, what the hell? I would like to reroll that, whether that reroll costs, like, 100 stacks or crowns, that can be all up to KingsIsle. But I think having something like that, again, would just help with it being a little bit more consumer friendly. And another big issue I see with the pet system as well is people do not really understand how to track talents. Now, I get this now, but even like after my first year of like, learning Wiz, and keep in mind, I've come a long way in like a year or two on this game. Like, as you guys know, I'm like a big Wiz head now. A year in, I learned so much crap, right? But a year in, I could not tell you, bro, what the hell was going on in a pet pool, I had like a very mid understanding, but not a damn clue. Not a damn clue. So I'd really hope that this system right here gets fleshed out a bit better and is honestly more predictable. So if they do that and combine that with like a pet system reroll, I think that would be really, really great for the game. And another thing I want to talk about is the lack of P9s and energy elixirs right now. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think the only viable way to get these is by doing the raid. So you have to be in a guild for that, and then you have to do the millispeeder and hope your team is good enough to do the millispeeder, So what I would like to see with the two things I've already suggested is maybe more accessibility to both, Peru potions and energy elixirs for all players, Whether we tie that in with the daily assignments type thing, I think that'd be really cool as well. Or you could get one every other day, or one a week even, I just think there needs to be more accessibility to these things, especially for the casual players, right? That's what a lot of this video is coming from, is the casual player's perspective. And unlike raids, I don't think KingsIsle can just chalk this off to being a hardcore player thing, because pets are universal. Both, casual PvE players and hardcore PvP players and raiders all need pets, right? So I think it's kind of unfair to have something be so universal, but then only have it really make it make sense and be good for the hardcore players, In my opinion right now, again, I don't really have any data, I don't work at KingsIsle, but from what I've seen and what I've heard, I think there is a huge majority of people that want to make pets, but they just feel like it's impossible to make a pet. Because again, all the stuff we listed in the first minute there, like it's honestly laughable how much you have to do to make a pet. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like KingsIsle hasn't made the pet system better. I think you get 4 XP for beating a main quest. I think you do. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong there. But they did add that in, which I think is a great change in my opinion. More stuff like that. Again, more accessibility for pets will be very helpful. But in my opinion, those 3 things would be the best thing they can do, is a pet reroll system, flesh out the talents part right here, and give everybody more accessibility to P9s and energy elixirs. Because if you do that, like, yeah, it's a bit easier to make a pet, but you're also not going to be like pissing off like a lot of the people that have been making pets for years, like I made pets. Again, I have so many pets on my account, right? I made so many. Like, I wouldn't mind any of these changes personally. Obviously, I can't speak for everybody out there, but because it's like, if they did that, it's kind of the same, I feel like. But then look at the bright side of it. We have a ton more people getting into PvP. We have a ton more people, doing stuff in PvE as well, and maybe even actually spending a bit of crowns because they feel more treated better as a customer, you know what I mean? I've spent up to 30 bucks making a pet before, when 5th Age came out, like the test realm 5th Age beta a couple months ago. It's almost a year now, I think, actually, but when that came out, If y'all remember, I spent 30 bucks making the meta pet for like when the update hit live ROM. I spent like how many hours, bro? I spent hours and 30 bucks trying to make that pet, you know? And then like it gets to a point where you're $25 in making the pet, right? And it's like, what am I doing? You know, like you just gotta ask yourself, like, what I'm spending all this money for what? Like, what is going on? Like, why is this pet system so abysmal, you know? And again, I don't want to come off very negative in this video. I always want to be constructive here on the channel, but I really think that's a silly thing for it to ever be that bad, you know? If you gotta pause and be like, okay, what the hell is going on? I think that's a serious problem. So that's where I think, you know, you can, if you're KingsIsle, you can kind of make that obviously more accessible to P9s and energy elixirs, and then make that pet reroll system so things do not get as out of hand as we see with my $30 freaking 5th age example. Now, you could wait, I guess you could, you know, slap on some energy gear and then, you know, train a pet, wait another day, train a pet, but you know, I've seen people do this, and I've done this myself, you know. When I was making my account, actually, I remember after I got my storm done, I did a life, no, I did a fire, sorry, that's my old account. I did a fire, and then, you know, I got a fire for the sword, and then I started Wizard City, you know, got all the way to Azteca, right? This pet was doing so good up till Epic, and then it just freaking, like, for the lack of a better term, it shits the bed in Azteca. It's horrible, you know? So that pet I've been running from Wizard City to Azteca, it's just a giant waste of my time now. And keep in mind, that's literally main quest lines and not spending crowns, just getting on, using my energy, you know, going to quest, using my energy. That's just like the free-to-play way to do it. But again, that's all that time Wiz City to Azteca just to do that. I think that's just really bad in my opinion. That really turns off a lot of people from even wanting to spend money on the game, because if they spend time and, you know, the free-to-play route and then it's still not working, why would you spend money on, you know, like a shady practice with respect to the devs? So I really think if, you know, you are a dev watching this, I think there definitely is, you know, potential for this pet system to be a lot better, and I really think if y'all can, you know, slightly tweak things, you'll honestly drive up sales more, because more people will want to be inclined to make pets because they feel like they can, you know? If you feel like you can make a pet now, more people will play your game, and they might actually spend money because they actually feel like a customer, not like a freaking slave to KingsIsle, you know? With respect, again, not trying to diss anybody, no devs here, but because I feel like a lot of people sometimes, they, again, back to the $30 example, right? You just gotta sit there and be like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is it this bad, you know? And you never want your players to feel that way, I feel like. So, you know, I feel like just players in general want to feel treated better in the game, and especially when it comes to pets. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this video, guys. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Looking forward to reading and hearing your feedback down there. As always, please be respectful about your opinions, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed, and as always, take care, guys.